Hi guys, in another example of "we told you so," Brexit is biting its supporters in the behind. You see, part of the Illegal Migration Act is not being applied in Northern Ireland, which could result in asylum seekers fleeing Great Britain across the Irish Sea to avoid being deported to Rwanda. Now, a justice in the High Court in Belfast has ruled that parts of the flagship Tory policy are incompatible with the Windsor Framework and will need to be returned to Westminster for re-evaluation. The Windsor Framework deals mainly with trade issues, but there is also a human rights element, which forces the UK not to water down human rights provisions from the Good Friday Agreement. So, what happens next?
But then the Prime Minister, who struggles to catch a break, had this court judgment about Rwanda from a court in Northern Ireland. Now, over time, the implications are going to come clearer. But there are two immediate consequences. First of all, the DUP say, well, it could well be the case now that migrants that come to the UK, any part of the UK, just go to Northern Ireland in order to basically escape being deported to Rwanda. So that is potentially a problem. We're going to have to see how that plays out. But the other thing is, it just reminded everybody that in many ways Brexit isn't completely solved, that there are differences in Northern Ireland about how the way the law is applied there to the whole of the rest of Great Britain, and some vestiges of our membership of the European Union remain in place there but not anywhere else. And that's a complication for a Prime Minister who just wants to make the argument that he's solved all these issues.
It's comical when it comes to Northern Ireland and Brexit, because we warned people about these types of problems. Not specifically these problems, but there would be problems for the Union. And it's also comical because over the last few weeks, since the issue of asylum seekers leaving Great Britain, crossing the Irish Sea, going into Northern Ireland and then going into the Republic, Unionists in Northern Ireland, like the DUP, the TUV and others, were jumping up and down with joy because they believed, now what's going to happen is the Irish government are going to carry out checks on the border. They're going to go forward with maybe infrastructure on the border, and now we're finally going to see our Brexit benefit, the consequence of what we voted for, the goal of what we hoped for, a hard border on the island of Ireland. And I had said at the time, look, this isn't going to happen, but it's blown up in their faces once again, because what's instead going to happen probably is the British government are going to have to make a decision. Are they going to try and bring these asylum seekers back from Northern Ireland so that they can be deported? Probably not, because if they're in Northern Ireland, the rules are different. Are they going to change the illegal migration bill to suit unionists in Northern Ireland? I highly doubt that. So what's going to happen is they're probably going to reinforce the border between Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Now, I don't know what the end result here is, but it's looking more and more likely that's going to be the case. So where you had unionists in Northern Ireland like the DUP and the TUV trying to reach out to the British government to reduce the friction on the border between Great Britain and Northern Ireland, it's actually going to be reinforced now, or it's possible that it's going to be reinforced. Because think about it from Rishi Sunak's point of view. Is he going to try and throw a bone to the DUP and the TUV and unionists, or is he going to try and water down, by watering down his illegal migration bill, or is he just going to say, to hell with the unionists, reinforce the border, asylum seekers going into Northern Ireland will not be able to return. They'll have to stay in Northern Ireland, because as we know, if the Irish government is going to carry out more checks, it's going to result in more asylum seekers not going across the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic. They'll stay where they are. It'll have a chilling effect on that. So they will stay there. And you have unionist parties, right-wing unionist parties, who are against immigration, against asylum seekers coming into the United Kingdom. And now they're going to see them stuck there because they don't want to go into the Republic of Ireland because the risk they'll be checked. And they can't go back to Great Britain because the British government are not willing to take them back. So you're going to have this Irish Sea border reinforced. You know, we told unionists at the time, back in 2016, I remember speaking to some of them. I said, look, voting for Brexit is going to damage the union. But when it comes to the DUP and the likes of the DUP, I keep coming back to this main point. Their hatred of Ireland and the EU was stronger than any love for the Union. had an opportunity to protect the union and they threw that away. And now we're seeing the consequences of that, or the possible consequences. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.